The next video will be the next installment for Moonies, and we're up to chapter 2. So there I was on the first day at the new school, shaking at the knees. Straight away I found out two things, one good and one bad. I'll give you the bad first. There was a bully at the school, isn't there always? His name was Kevin Grunt, but everyone just called him Grunt. He was big and tough and had a long nose. It was almost as if he'd been waiting for me. He took one look at me and then marched across the classroom. He whacked this piece of paper down on the desk. "New kids have to prove themselves," he said. "Sign here. It's a contract." I went red in the face. Not because I didn't want to prove myself. No, not that. But because I didn't want anyone to know I couldn't read. I had no idea what was written on that bit of paper. I gave a little grin and held up my bandaged arm. "Can't write," I said. I always used to put my left arm in a sling when there was going to be writing to do. That way no one would be able to know I couldn't spell. Easy. It never failed. Except this time. "Just write your name with your right hand, idiot," said Grunt. "Put a cross if you like." I looked at the piece of paper. Then I stared up at the faces that surrounded me. The whole class was waiting to see what I would do. I wanted to say, "Will someone read it out, please?" But of course I couldn't say that. They would all know my terrible secret. So I picked up the pen and scribbled my name with my right hand. A kid with red hair and freckles pushed through to the front. "I think it's mean," he said. "He's only a new kid. Give him a break, Grunt." "Shut up, Blue," said Grunt. "Unless you want to take his place." That's how I become friends with Blue. "You're mad," he said. "You have to go out on Wollaston Bridge at 4 o'clock and flash your behind at Mr. Bello. There's nowhere for you to run or hide. You'll be in the middle of the bridge all alone. You'll get caught for sure." I smiled weakly. "I could just go home," I said. Blue shook his head. "Grunt and his mates will never leave you alone if you break your contract. Not now that you've signed. You have to do it." And the good thing? What was a good thing that happened? Well, they were having this competition in Melbourne at the National Gallery, an exhibition. One person from each school could put in a piece of art. Before the first period was over, I found myself in Mr. Bello's office. He stood there looking at my paintings of the wallaby. He shook his head. "Fantastic," he said. "I can't believe that you're only 13. The gallery director is coming tomorrow. I'm sure that she'll pick this. It's terrific. We're very glad to have such a talent at our school." I was rapt. Maybe I would become famous. More than anything in the world, I wanted to be a painter. I was never happier than when I had a brush in my hand. I would have been the happiest person in the world if I didn't have to go onto the Wollaston Bridge after school and flash my bare behind at Mr. Bello. To be honest, I am a shy person. I didn't want anyone to see my bottom. Oh, oh, oh. What a terrible thing. I just couldn't do it. But I couldn't not do it either. Could I? Not after I'd signed a contract. And that ends the next installment for Moonies.